Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Challenging the Spin podcast. Today's guest is someone who has been one of our most requested guests, so I'm really excited to finally have her on this podcast with me. I'm joined today by the incredible Martine, a pole instructor, competitor, and performer who has been pole dancing for around 15 years. Before discovering pole, Martine grew up doing freestyle and disco dancing, and movement has always been a huge part of her life. She's known throughout the pole community for her incredible talent, her unbelievable flexibility, and above all, her passion for teaching and helping her students achieve goals that they never thought were possible. In today's episode, we chat about her journey into pole, what keeps her motivated after 15 years, her love of teaching, why she continues to compete despite the nerves, and the lessons that she's learned along the way. One of my favourite parts of this episode was discussing competing in pole dance competitions with Martine. Although Martine competes and has even won the All Ireland Pole Dance Championships over 40 category last year, Martine admits that she struggles with the nerves that comes with competing. Rather than competing because of it simply coming naturally to her, she chooses to step outside of her comfort zone to challenge herself and to lead by example for her students, showing them that growth often comes from doing the things that scare us most. So, you've all been waiting for this episode, and I know you're going to love it. So, let's get into it.
You were requested by a number of our listeners in the audience to say you need to do an episode with Martine. So thank you for actually being willing to sit down and chat with me, because I know a lot of people are interested in hearing your story and how you got involved. Okay. So I think it would be good to just start off with, how did you get involved in pole dance? Sort of how did you discover it and your journey with discovering it?
My sister actually did pole with polar size, and she'd been doing really, really well at it, and it was something I wanted to do, but there was such a waiting list to get into the classes in polar size, and then I was too afraid to go by myself. So, and there was like a 6-month waiting list. Now I'm not waiting 6 months, and I didn't want to do it. But then my sister had gone and opened her own studio, so she taught me in her studio, and then just over time she just ended up having a lot on her plate and closed her studio, and then Elle took me down into polar size. But yeah, how I got into it was just watching my sister learning from polar size, and went, I want to do that too.
Brilliant. Yeah, love it. And then, so you eventually were able to do a class. So
Yeah.
what was that sort of first class experience like? How did you feel doing that?
It was nice. I think you're really afraid of it, and you think, okay, nobody's going to know everyone's going to know each other, and I'm going to be on my own. But you're not. You're all on the same level, and half the people have all waited on a friend joining with them, and then the friend doesn't, and then they just go, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And they just go, and it's nice, and nobody's looking at anybody else. You're spinning in a circle. Nobody can see anybody else.
Exactly.
So you're doing your own thing, focusing on yourself in the wee corner, and all the things that you're panicking about, and they're not there.
Exactly.
Nothing's really, it's worse in your head.
Yeah. No, I always say that, because you're so focused on not falling off the polar tie, and you're like, you don't have time.
Like everybody else is doing the exact same thing. They're all focusing on not falling as well, and nobody's looking at anybody else.
Exactly.
They're all trying to keep their own focus too.
Yeah. And so then I seen in your bio that you did actually disco dancing and freestyle before, a little bit of experience there. How does that differ to pole dance? What was it about pole dance that you stuck at and then continued to do?
I think I did love the disco dancing and the freestyle, and then it came to them wanting me to compete, and I hate competing.
Yeah.
I hate getting on stage. I hate dancing in front of people. I'm getting better at it, but it still terrifies me. And so when I was younger and I had to do that, it freaked me out and I couldn't do it. So after a couple of competitions, I just went, I can't do this. Pole, there's so many different styles of pole. There's so many different styles of dancing, whether it's in your feet or it's in your heels. Then you've also got all just the sport side. So I think pole, it's not like a normal gym class or anything. So I used to go to like wee classes like body pump and stuff and spin classes, and I'd get used to what was coming, because I would remember the patterns and the songs, and I would know what was next, and then it didn't do nothing for me because I knew, and I would get bored. Yeah. Whereas pole, there was something new every week. You might have got used to the warm-up, but then the warm-up gets harder the higher up you go the levels, and then there was always a new trick to learn, and there's always a new style and a new something, and sometimes it get frustrating when you couldn't get into something, but you'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
And so I think it was that, it kept me something different every week kept me excited rather than exercise classes where I would get bored with the repetitiveness.
No, I definitely agree. It is so unique and different compared to other classes, and
Yeah.
your warm ups you always change every so often to keep us on our
But I get
toes.
bored of the song too.
Exactly. So yes, so you started then pole dance 15 years ago now it would be, which is amazing.
15 years. Josh
Yeah.
is nearly 15. He's nearly 16, so I started just before I got pregnant.
Amazing.
Oh.
So how do you see how pole's changed over the past 15 years?
When I started pole, one of the biggest pole moves that had only just come out and every instructor was trying to do it was a twist to grip handspring. That was and right now this is something that our advanced level students do, and it's just once they get it, like, okay, what's next? Whereas back then, and we hadn't even worked out how to do it low down yet. We'd only seen it done high. So we were all learning how to do this massive big swing, and every instructor around was trying to get this move. And then eventually we got it, and it took us a while to work out, oh, hang on, you can train this from down low because it's a different movement whenever you do it low, but it took us a while to learn that and that was the biggest thing. And now look, and you look at a handspring and you go, it's nothing now compared to the moves. There really is a lot of upskilling and stuff involved, but again, there's a lot of different sides because there's a lot of moves that you can only do if you're like almost a contortionist, but there's a lot of moves you can do if you're really strong. So there's different styles, and you just find, you might be able to do a little bit of everything, but you just find the style that works in with it. But yeah, the amount of moves, shoulder dismount and a Superman were elite level in the classes whenever I was first starting out poling. Now they're in there with the wee low advanced ones now as well. So
interesting. You touched there briefly about how you sort of just started pole dancing before you got pregnant.
Yes.
So what was that experience like then, having your kids, maybe still training up to then? How did you get back into pole dance then, sort of as a mum now?
So I had been doing it for a few months, and my sister had opened her own studio, so I was then helping teach beginner levels. And what actually happened was I had a lot of my work colleagues from my job had joined the class, and they didn't know I was pregnant yet. And what was happening was spinning in a circle was giving me motion sickness. I had to do a lot of faking it in that class, so they didn't find out I was pregnant. And then once I had my son, my sister actually got a studio closer to where I lived. Because she had moved premises, and then I was going down in the evenings, and still taking the classes down there then. Maternity and stuff, so I just sort of got straight back into it, especially since she was closer, and I did love it, but I didn't want to take a massive gap in it. When I had my second son though, I was so used to spinning, the spinning didn't make me sick when I was pregnant with Jamie, and I was fine. Now I did stop inverting after so many weeks once it was a bump and I felt like it was in the way, but I was still dancing and still doing beginner stuff, and Elle threw me out of the studio at 36 weeks and told me to go away, and physically took my classes off the timetable so I couldn't come down to the studio. And it's like, oh no, darling.
You had been going to a class.
There's something to be said about still doing your exercises and stuff when you're pregnant, within reason of being careful what you were doing. Me still doing a lot of exercise with Jamie made things so much easier than whenever it was with Josh, and because I was feeling sick I couldn't do anything.
And did you feel then, because you were still exercising right up, you felt like you could sort of come back, and that transition was pretty smooth then? Because you didn't take
it
as much
was
time?
hard. Now, granted, I was off for 4 weeks before I had him, and then I think I took 6 weeks off before I came back, because obviously you have to let, abs and all heal and all the rest of it. So I wasn't off for a massive amount. It was hard coming back. It was a wee bit frustrating because you came back knowing I used to be able to lift this with straight legs, and I used to be able to lift this with ease, and it's hard. And it felt a lot heavier than it was, which is to be expected. You've just had a baby. But it was frustrating because I can see why people go, oh, I'm not doing this again. I'm not relearning what I used to be able to do. Came back a lot faster than you got it the first time. Especially even the burning and stuff like that, going over things. It's almost like going over scar tissue, so it was burnier the second time, but it went away a lot quicker than it did the first time. So you just had to power through it and just accept, like, you'll get it back again. You're just gonna have to keep going with it, and I did, but it was frustrating at the start.
No, I think that's actually so encouraging to hear, because not many people will know that you actually were
you feel like
teaching
you've
and
lost
stuff
it
like that.
and that's it, gone, and you're not. It's just everything's gone to sleep. You haven't used them muscles in a while. Just keep going and it'll be fine.
That'll be so encouraging for people listening that are maybe pregnant at the moment, or are thinking,
you don't lose everything. It'll be fine.
Brilliant. There we go. Powerful words. So yes, so teaching is obviously, you've mentioned it a few times, you've been teaching for so many years now, and a lot of the listeners that were sort of requesting to get you on have been students of your class, have know how amazing of a teacher you are. What is it about teaching that you love? Why do you teach pole dancing?
I just love shouting at people.
That's the real reason I was growing. I was
No, I don't. I do love helping people get things. I do find that loads of different teachers have different ways of explaining things.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes what happened when my kids were young, when I was first learning, I used to maybe say things in a way that I would have spoke to a child. Like, so I've seen teachers that have said, like, you need to be able to push your hips forward, and I'm going, try and put your feet in your head. And it's the exact same thing. You're still doing that same movement. You're just taking it from a different angle.
Yeah.
So I like maybe having a student come in that hasn't been able to get into something, and it's not that their teacher or whoever has helped them before has said it wrong. They've said it right. Their brain just hasn't registered that movement in that way. So if I have another way of saying that and they get it, then it helps. Do you know what I mean? So I like being there whenever somebody gets into something and helping them achieve things. And it's great being able to help someone get into something that their brain just didn't register how that movement should be done before. And I just have maybe a silly way of explaining it, or a silly way of doing it, you know.
Yeah, and it's so important to have that, because pole is very different to like the gym or weight. Because as soon as you're upside down, your brain does not register the right way up.
Like one of the other instructors is she's very sort of mathematical minded, and she's like, well, you got to put your arm into like at this 90-degree angle, and you've got to do this, and I tell you, you need to be a chicken with a hoop. And for my students, that works.
Yeah.
Imagine a chicken with a hula hoop, and that's how they get into it. And most of them don't know what 90 degrees is, so that, you know, more technical terms doesn't work for everybody. And that's what worked for me, myself. So then I just put that back out to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know how to explain it in the proper terms too, but I prefer it my way.
Yeah. With the way that it's shouting at it all.
Exactly, the way that it's shouting at it.
Oh, brilliant. So how would you then sort of describe, you know, you were talking there about you say it in an alternative way, a different way. You use unique sort of ways to picture and imagine things for people. How would you describe your teaching style, and also the style that you yourself pole dance?
Oh, I don't know.
Would they be quite similar of how you pole dance and then how you would teach it?
Sort of. I suppose I just like sort of moving my body into things and seeing what happens sometimes. Sometimes I just like putting a song. See, if I just hear a song that I just love, I just like flow into it. And sometimes there's no plan to that. Sometimes it's just go with the song and see what happens.
Yeah.
I sometimes find it harder to just try and learn a new move, whereas I would rather try and dance my way into it, and I find that a lot easier to move my way into things than to just try and put myself in that position. But yeah, the way you sort of work your way into things, you can't go and teach something you really haven't done before or haven't done, because you don't know where your points of grip are, you don't know where they should be feeling it, so you need to have at least done it before. So a lot of the time, you know, people think teachers could just go down and use the studio and they just go down and sort of have a play. You're not. You're down doing class plans.
Yeah.
There's also things like, you know, say your class plan has a list and it's a move you did years ago. Well, that doesn't mean you remember how to do. You got to do it again. Yeah. So you've got to go through it, and a lot of the time you're sort of getting into going, I need to move this arm here, and I need to I need to sort of move that like a chicken. You know, things. Sometimes as well, you try and teach someone into something and you just see them moving an arm a certain way and you go, right, just sort of flick that arm up a wee bit more so you learn it as you go too. Yeah. While something's really easy for me to just manoeuvre my body into, they might need to do something slightly different, and sometimes while you're teaching them that comes to you. Yeah. But I personally just like to dance away and things.
No, I love that. It's especially because on your social media when you do the video, just I think that's what people love about you, that you can just like, you're so gracefully just go with the music.
Yeah, and I just like a good song, and then that's me flowing away too. Exactly. I'll burn that song out till you're sick of hearing it, but that's all I do.
But no, and I think you actually touched on the next question when you were talking there about, people think teachers just go down and dance, and that no, we're actually doing class plans and we have to plan that.
Yes, I have about 2 days a week where I can actually train. I'm in here about 7 days a week at the minute with mostly one-to-ones and classes, and I get a bit of time on a Tuesday and a Friday. Now at the minute we're trying to squeeze competition prep in there as well and do my own routine, but I also have to do my class plan, so I have to make sure that all my classes on Tuesdays all have their what moves I'm doing with them, and you know, make sure I can still do them. And then I've got Sundays as a heels class, so I need to make up a new routine for that. There's a new routine every 2 weeks with that, so I need to make up a new routine. I try to find like a little base move and go, right, this is a hard move to do, we're going to repeat that in no matter what you're going to do, we're going to repeat it over and over, because you're never going to get something doing it once, so doing it for a few weeks in a row you'll get it. And then if you've any time left, you get to have a wee play with whatever's new and exciting that maybe you want to start learning on. But you know,
It's a lot of work.
and then sometimes you're sitting at home as well, and you've got your one-to-ones, and you're maybe sitting writing their class plans and what, right, this is what this person's on this week, and this is what that person's on, and this person wants to do a wee choreo, and this person wants to do more spin. So you have to sit with lists upon lists of who's on what, who's doing what, and it's everybody's different levels.
Yeah, because that's what people don't see behind the scenes, is they come each week and go, oh, we're learning these exciting new moves, but it's actually important to know what goes on.
Well, that's it. Your instructor has to know how to do those moves, and
exactly,
make sure they know how to explain it.
And is there anything else sort of like that people may not know about teaching that you know as a teacher, but people might not sort of see it?
Just that it's never, you'll be sitting talking to someone will maybe send you a message going, oh, can we do this? Or can we have a quick wee flow at this? And they send you a song, and you might start standing up to the pole and let me get this started. You never just switch it off whenever they're messaging you and stuff like that. You're constantly trying to stay on top of it, so you're not standing in here in the middle of someone's class or one-to-one trying to wing it.
Yeah.
You need to be organised, you need to have it. So yes, you could be sitting there every night, even if you're not in the studio, still doing the work for the next day or for the next one, a couple of days. Competition prep as well, they're not just thinking about, it's not just their dance routine. You're thinking about, right, they need facial expressions, they need stage friends, you've got help with them, all that. This competition in a couple of weeks, the All Ireland has visuals, so you need to start helping them with ideas with visuals. They're not just coming to you with a song and you're helping them put a routine together. You're helping them fill in the little gaps, and you're helping them with all the other little sides of that, and that doesn't just go away and just show up on the hour when you turn up at the studio.
Yeah, exactly. But when we're at the competition, we just see the end result of that 3-minute routine and the amount of work that actually goes into that. Has there been a particular moment when you've been teaching that's been like your best memory, a best maybe moment where you've seen someone achieve something, or the funny memories too of how we let go of the pole and you have to catch us? And
I have been kicked in the head and punched, head butted. I got kneed right in the cheek a couple weeks ago. I am surprised. There's not a one where I don't have a short term memory loss, but I have been kicked and punched that many times, and my job is don't let go.
Yeah.
I think I've had my lip burst a couple of times with somebody punching me in the face. It's when they get their hand stuck behind their leg, and then they yank their hand out, their hand flies across and just slaps you in the face. I had to catch one girl by the leg a few weeks ago as she dropped. They caught her as she went on her way down. There was one time, and nobody videoed it. It was one girl was doing a headstand, and I could see her in the corner of my eye. I had a mat in my hand. And she went to fall out of the headstand. I seen her fall backwards, and I slid through the mat across the hall and landed right underneath her. And I went, that was fantastic.
No.
Nobody videoed that. So I caught her as she hit the floor under the mat, and not a single person had a camera pointing at it. Cameras all over this place, and not one of you caught that.
I know. I'm saying if it's not videoed, it didn't exist.
Exactly. I was so impressed with myself.
That's like a movie scene.
Yeah.
No. So we touched there then on competing. So competing is a big thing for you because yes. So I know from when we were in classes together, I think it was the first time you were competing in 2022, was it? Yeah. And in our
the first time I competed was 2017. I competed then, and I went up so safe. And then I competed 2019 before COVID. No, I didn't. Sorry, I was a guest performance at that one. After COVID then was proper back to actually competing.
Yeah. And and I remember in that class, actually us, we could see your nerves and sort of you were really apprehensive. You didn't know whether you were going to go for it. And we were so surprised because to us, we see you as so confident, like you're an amazing teacher. Your videos are incredible and the moves you can do. What is it for you about competing that, talk us a little bit more about competing for you?
It's all eyes on you. I've always sort of, anything that involves everybody watching me, there's a lot of anxiety in me in general, but like the fear of standing there going, okay, what if I miss my first cue? What if everybody's cheering and I can't hear my first cue? What if I slip? What if I fall? What if I trip?
Yeah.
The idea of embarrassing myself in some way really freaks me out, and I know that if I was to wobble on my heels, I'm gonna panic and I want to start shaking. Yeah. So last year was the first year I walked off not happy with what I'd done, and it sort of taught me last year. So I got my foot stuck in my Scorpio last year, and the whole time I'd ever practiced, I never got my foot stuck. and I got my foot stuck in that handstand, and that threw me off a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Now, I got through the rest of the routine, and I was quite proud of myself because I kept everything going. But it was the first year I've walked off stage not happy with what I did, which sort of showed me that, because I placed first last year, but previous years I'd always placed second or third, but I was always buzzing and happy with the routine that I did.
Yeah.
So last year sort of showed me that it wasn't about placing, it was about doing what I did properly and making sure that I did the routine well, which then I suppose made me feel a bit more comfortable this year, that I know it's just about doing it right. It's not which whether I placed or not is a bonus, that's great. But as long as I'm happy with what I did on stage, I'm buzzing then. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it just makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
It's so scary, everybody looking at you in the chair, and then it freaks me out and I'm scared fall.
No, but yeah, how amazing is she when she's performing? You can't tell at all that you're nervous.
She's the pole cleaner backstage. She's screaming.
Hype woman.
Hype woman. She's a hype woman when you're on the stage, but she's backstage teaching you how to breathe in and out. And I'm standing with, why am I here? Sarah, why am I here? I do this every year. Why am I here?
Yeah.
Every year.
Love it. But yeah, so I mean, it just shows you, like, we're watching it, and again, it's so interesting that you said actually last year was the one year you came off not happy, but yet that was the year you came first, and that was the moment for you. Did you then have that sort of moment where actually, okay, now I recognise, I came first? What did it feel like then when you came first place?
It was good. It was a nice feeling, but like I said, I didn't have the same buzz last year, even though I placed first, as what I did the years when I didn't have any mistakes in my routine.
Yeah.
And that's what taught me it's more about me. I'm happier as long as I do a clean routine. Yeah. But yeah, it was lovely to have placed first last year. And I'd love to place again this year, but it's not all about that either. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice, and it's a great wee boost to it and stuff like that. But
exactly.
And I feel like if you go in with the mindset of I'm going to place, it almost puts an extra bit of pressure on yourself.
Definitely.
Whereas I am just happy if I come off with a clean routine, and no matter what, I can come off and go, I'm proud of what I did up there. That was clean and it was tidy, and I did what I did well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious actually to hear about what is it like to compete from an instructor's perspective, because I would say it would be quite different as a teacher competing compared to if you're a student. Just
you have so much more pressure on you then, because you have your students all, and if you go and make a mess of it, I don't think any of my students would, but you have this pressure in your head going, I can't believe that's my instructor, I'm going to mess him into that. You know what I mean? I don't think any of them would, but there is that pressure on it that you're afraid that if you really do make a mess of something, or something looks horrendous, you're going to then be judged for the fact of going, how's she teaching? Like, that's, do you know what I mean? So you have a wee bit more pressure on you that way.
Sure. Couldn't imagine. But no, we all hype you up. I can't wait to see you again this year. So how then, so with you were saying there about you would be quite nervous competing, that's sort of your thing. How do you then mentally prepare yourself when you know you're going to compete?
Oh, I take a panic attack out the back. It's full on. I genuinely have to take a half a day as a plan. I do, but hours in it, I have to take a half a day as a plan somewhere really early in the day, because the anxiety, the heart palpitations are too much and it freaks me out. So earlier in the day, I'll take a little small half a day, like a wee 2 or something like that. Small, just to take that edge off it, so purely so I can focus.
Of course.
And then right before I'm going on, anxiety start to perk back up again, but that's okay, because that's going to get the adrenaline through. But I'll not get through the day through mental exhaustion if I let that go all day. So by the time I'm getting on stage, all that's eased off a bit, and the anxiety's perking back up, which is my adrenaline get me through. Standing right backstage, I'm starting to have wee palpitations, freaking out, going, why am I standing here? Why am I doing this again? And every year I tell Sarah, this is it, never doing it again. And I'm out the back and I'm having to breathe. When you get straight out on the stage, so you'll see me backstage flapping my hands about, don't touch me. I've got grip on you, like right, no one's going to look at me backstage. And when you get out there, you automatically have to, right, your facial expressions and your hands, I mean, they're all part of your dance as well. If I walk out there looking like my hands are shaking and my fucking lip
quivering
then I'm going to look really, really nervous. So you have to fake it, and that has to be part of you. You have to make that part of the whole routine and the dance and stuff, which is what freaks me out, that if I make a mess and I start shaking, then they're going to see how nervous I am. So I have to get out and pretend like it's all part of it.
Yes.
And straight away, the minute you walk out, that's your dance started as such. So,
and then when you're actually, because I'm so curious about this, because I could never, honestly, the thought of competing actually amazes me of how people can go up and perform. Like my nerves are wrecked even for them. But so when you are competing, what does it feel like? Like, are you sort of just blacked out and just
Yeah.
doing it, or do you feel
you can't really see anybody because all the lights are shining on you. You can just about make out where your judge's table is, and you know that all your eye contact knowledge is aimed out in that direction.
Right. Yeah.
Once your music starts, see, once I hear the first beat and I know, right, I've heard it, so I know where I am.
Yes.
I just go into a wee zone and muscle memory takes over, and you just do it, and you come off the stage and you don't remember a thing you did, and you hope somebody videoed it. And I've gone down and I've been sitting beside Tim and after him, did I do such and such up there? And he doesn't know none of it is. He's going, what? And I went, hang on, I'll see someone else. He goes, Lorna, did I do something up on that stage? And she went, yeah, I don't remember any of it.
It's not bad.
You just black out. You just go into autopilot.
Yeah, and just get through it.
Just get it done, yeah.
It's crazy. And so then at coming off the stage and sort of that feeling and you've come down, what is it that makes you want to keep competing? Because if you are, you've done it, so what makes you keep coming back?
You see, when you turn around to your students and turn around and say, oh, right, okay, this year you're going to go in for the All-Irelands, and then they go, I'll do it if you do it. Black me. The first year I ever competed, the only reason I ever competed the first year, which was way back in 2017, it was Lorna was talking about wanting to do the over 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And Elle said about doing over 40s, and then she says to me, you do the elite and she'll do the over 40s, and I got blackmailed into it.
Stop that.
And that's how it keeps happening, is that if you want to encourage your students to get up and do something because you think they're going to do well at it and you really want to see them try, you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is and do it too.
Yeah.
So I'm only competing for so many years.
Yeah.
It's something that I've always loved the idea of doing, but anxiety-wise, when I was younger, I loved the idea of competing. I loved the idea of dancing, but the minute it came to dancing in front of people, I would panic and freak out.
Yeah.
And it's still sort of the same now. I hate the idea of doing it in front of people, but I love the idea of doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, blackmail a lot of the time. And then again, there's things that when you get on stage, you can't explain to your students unless you've done it. For example, I remember the first time I ever competed, I got up and I rushed my way through the song because I was like, get it done, get it done, get it done. And you power your way through all the moves, and then the music was still playing, but I had finished my routine. And then my mind went blank about every pole move under the sun. Did the smallest freestyle I could think of, couldn't remember anything else, and the music was still playing, and I just sort of waved and ran off the stage. Something that I can now go back to my students that are competing and say, right, listen, when you get up there, you're automatically going to try and just get it finished.
Yeah.
But just because you move faster doesn't mean the music moves faster. So stop and think about what you're doing. Have cues in your music that you know that if where you are, you're too far ahead or you're too far back. And here are some fillers to put in there.
Yeah.
But these are things that if you haven't got on stage, you don't know. It's all well and good preparing someone for their routine and this is what they do and this is where you need to smile and this is where you need to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't know how they're going to react the minute they get up on that stage, and are they going to try and speed through it and say to them, if you make a mess, don't panic.
Yeah.
They don't know you made a mess. If you forget a move, they don't know you forgot a move. Keep going and make it look like it was part of it. And there are things that if you're going to help people get up on stage and you're going to help teach them that way, you've done it, you've felt it, and then you know how to explain it. Whereas if you've never been on stage, you don't know how that feels to be able to teach somebody.
No, and I think as well it gives, like, I know as your student when I seen you like preparing for the competition, it gives us such appreciation because actually we see, wow, she's nervous too, but actually she's going out of her comfort zone and she's doing it anyway. And I think that, as you said, it's leading by example to your students.
Yeah, it's hard to try and talk somebody into doing something that you're not prepared to do yourself. Yeah. Because you go, oh, but I'm scared. And they go, well, then so am I. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, as you said, you're in for it this year again, the All-Irelands. So how are you feeling about this year? Does it get easier as the years go on?
No, this year has to be off.
Oh, really?
I am in the process of moving house to Castlewellan down to Timford with all of those animals. So I am moving house. I am also going on holiday the week before the All-Irelands. So I am home the Wednesday night and the competition was the Saturday. So in amongst everything, so I'm in the process of moving my son different schools and the whole lot. So I'm very, very stressed.
Wow.
So I've got my routine. I was running it yesterday and stuff like that, and I think I more or less have it. It again though, because I only get to train a Tuesday and a Friday, You know yourself, you can wake up one day and be tired. It's not like I can then just go, right, I'll do it tomorrow instead, because I have a job and I have other things to do. So if I'm waking up on the Tuesday and I'm tired, or I'm slippy, or I'm just not feeling it that day, well, that's a day wasted. I haven't done any other. I have to wait till Friday to get the train. So that happened a few weeks ago, where I think my body hit burnout, and on the Friday I couldn't do anything. I think my body just quit on me. And couldn't do nothing on the Friday. But I just have to try not to freak out and go, right, it's fine, we're back on the Tuesday just to try again. Because of the amount of work I have, I can't just turn around and then have kids and all and go, oh, she'll come down tomorrow instead. I can't do that. If it's either now or never. And so we've still a couple of weeks to train. As long as I know my routine, the bones of it and what I want to do, and I know that it fits the length of the song, we're fine. As long as I don't stop still spinning up the pole when the music finishes, then we're okay.
Exactly. And we'll all be cheering you on from the audience.
You start to if my music starts, you all have to start singing, so it's like tell them on the floor, then just
exactly. We'll keep you going. So you actually touched on a really important point there about burnout as well. So you are in here literally every day, basically a week, and constantly teaching, doing your own moves, training for this competition. How do you keep going? Like, what keeps you motivated? Why do you want to continue to pole dance?
I just love it. I do. There's so many different styles to it. What I did have to do a few years ago, though, was ease off how much I did. So I used to do, whenever I had one-to-ones, and I used to do all their conditioning with them, loads of demonstrations with them over and over until the part where they just needed me to spot them. And then I burst my shoulder. I burst the fluid sac in my left shoulder. Because I had overdone it, and I had done too many one-to-ones that day, and I had just been doing it all. So I've had to reduce. When I teach one-to-ones, I demo their conditioning and then let them do the conditioning. I just watch the set and keep an eye on them. A lot of my advanced students know that I can talk them into things, as in they know what an outside leg hang is, they know what a flatline Scorpio is. If they need a demo, I can stick a pair of shorts on, I can demo. But more or less, a lot of my higher levels know what we're talking about when I'm talking through something, because if I go and I do all demos all the way through, it then comes to my training time and I'm either injured or so if I can talk them through it well. All my lower levels, my few beginners and my intermediate ones, they don't know what all that stuff is, so I have to do all the demos then. So I'm sort of saving all the demonstrations that I have to do for my lower level students for their one-to-ones, and then I do have to do demos and all in the classes. So I just had to change how I taught the one-to-ones and stuff, and so as I was reducing it, because I did end up with quite a bad injury. So, and we don't let that happen again.
No, definitely not. But no, it sounds very painful, that shoulder thing, honestly.
I was doing a pull into a hoop and I just felt the fluid sac burst in the shoulder and all these little beads of water ran down inside my arm. I could feel it running under my skin, and I text my physio and I says, Tony, I can't feel my arm, and he says, get over here right now. And I went, I can't, do one coming in. So I don't know the one coming. Thank God she was only a beginner. No, it was my left arm that I did it too. So I taught her beginner stuff with one arm. I'll use my right arm. And then I went over to Tony and he looked at me and I went, couldn't just drop her. She was on her way. It's only 2 minutes away. So he had to do electrotherapy and stuff on the shoulder. For a couple of weeks, couldn't really lift the shoulder at all. As it was always fine as long as it's my bottom arm. Now this arm won't go into twister grip anymore. I cannot do twister grip that left side because it won't rotate that way. I lost a lot of my back flexibility with it because I couldn't do bridges and stuff for so long. And my shoulder can still be tight. But it's my bottom arm, and he told me, keep moving it. You're gonna feel like you want to rest it. Just keep it moving, because it'll start to seize up. And I come down the next day and did pole, and he texted me on Facebook and went, are you winding me up? I says, you told me to keep moving. And he says, I meant like little exercises, move your shoulder up and down. He says, it didn't mean go back to pole. And I says, as long as I don't lift the arm above my head, we're okay.
See, so, that is a committed teacher.
He was not impressed.
No. Oh, you're mad, honestly.
Test that man's face.
No, your physio's working overtime.
I said, all my girls go to him now, and we all walk in and he's like, oh God, what have you done now? And he can see a pattern and he goes, what are you all doing? All you all your elbows.
See what you're learning to us. So now looking at sort of future, you going ahead with pole. So you've been doing it 15 years. What do you see for yourself in the future of pole? Like, is there a specific move that you want to achieve? Is there something you want to achieve, or do you just want to keep doing what you're doing?
I'm at the stage where I'm not. See, all this thing that's going on social media about upskilling, where everybody's just trying to force their way into the next big thing, and they're not really getting to certain levels to get the build up for them. I'm at the stage where I'm like, do you know what? To see if that's something I'm looking at and going, that looks like it's going to hurt my arm. We're not doing it.
No.
There's certain moves that just look too painful, or I don't like elbow grips. I can do some of them. I don't like them. They hurt my elbow a little bit, and I maybe get a bit of elbow pain for a day or two. It's not worth it.
No.
So there's certain moves that I'll just look at and go, I don't care if I can do that or not.
Yeah.
So while I love still learning new things, there is me now looking at things in a smarter way and going, no, that just looks like it's going to hurt me. And we're in our 40s now. Things don't hold on the same way they used to. So I'm just happy continuing on, and it's like, since I just like doing the dancing and playing away and stuff like that. But if anything starts to cause a bit of pain or a bit of discomfort trying to get into it, well, then we're abandoning that ship, and that's fine.
No, I think that's so important, is to actually have those boundaries, because that's what happens. Then people really injure themselves, or
because they're trying to push you into something that maybe they're not.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't bend that way, or you just can't do something.
Or they never feel content with the goals they've already achieved.
Exactly. You're always trying to get one more.
Yeah. And what would be your sort of highlight moment? Is there a particular proud moment that you've had for yourself and Paul?
In general, getting on stage. Because I just in general getting up there and proving that I can and not freak out on the stage. So that would just be a big one for me.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant, and it's amazing that you continue to do that. Not only did you do it once, but you continue to put yourself through that.
My lesson.
Exactly. Traumatize yourself in here. But no, so I just have a few like quick fire questions. Okay. So you can respond with either just one word, like a quick sentence. So your favourite pole move?
Pole cats.
Your least favourite pole move?
Elbow grips.
Heels or no heels?
Oh, it depends what I'm doing. I love heels slow, and I do love heels up the pole too, but there are certain things that you can't do with heels on. So 50-50.
50-50. Your favourite song to dance to at the moment?
Probably my competition song at the minute, because I haven't burnt it out yet.
Oh yeah.
So that's my favourite one at the minute. It's called Stars on Our Legs. So I'm loving that one at the minute.
Lovely. One word to describe pole?
Hard.
Very true. Very true. The hardest thing that you've learned in pole?
To walk away from something. Do you mean pole move or actual lesson?
Either or, a lesson.
To walk away from it when it's starting to hurt, and not go, I can do one more, because that's going to injure you for the next couple of weeks.
No, that's
so to walk away when things start to get tired.
Yeah. And the last question, that before I get on to the very last that I ask every guest, is the questions that we put up in the audience. A lot of people want to know, how are you so bendy? And what do you do to do
naturally bendy. I couldn't do splits or anything before I started pole. I couldn't do middle splits. Now, I did research into all this as to how my middle splits are easier than my front splits. It's to do with the way your hips open. So I find middle splits so easy. Front splits murder me. My hamstrings hate them. But it's a consistency thing. If you want to be flexible, you have to go to flex classes or do flex at home, and you have to be consistent with it. Going to one flex class every 6 months isn't going to get you splits or back bends. You have to do it once or twice a week. You also don't want to be stretching through. If I do a flex class one day, I don't want to repeat it the next day, because it's normal to be a bit sore and tight. You're just going to keep stretching and hurt yourself. So taking rest days in between your stretching and being consistent with your stretching is how.
There we go. People think you came out of the womb with your middle splits.
Absolutely not. I work bloody hard.
Exactly. So the last question that I say to every guest that comes on is, Challenge and Spin is a podcast about wanting to challenge the narratives, amplify the pole community, show the amazing benefits of it. What is one topic, and it can be pole or unpole related as well, that you think we should challenge the spin on, challenge the narrative about?
I don't know.
I know it's quite a deep one.
It is a deep one.
I know.
My God, Beth, you didn't get
No. Everyone hates this one. So we've had people say about age, certain poles, strength,
age would be a big one. Like in my advanced mixed class, several of my students are in their 50s and 60s.
Amazing.
So I have half of the room. Well, see, half of my class on 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. There's a few in their 60s, a few in their 50s. There's a few that have had previous injuries years ago, and we just have to adapt moves and stuff as to who can do what.
Yeah.
I suppose you need to know as well, as you get older, things change, your body moves different ways, things are going to feel sore and injured, and so we adapt the whole class to moving around it. But yeah, age is a big thing. While you might look at these wee girls doing these ridiculous moves, there's other ways and means to adapt that for what you can do at the time, and you know, if not, you just don't look at that move, you go and we'll do a different one.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, age would be a big one.
No. And I think that's actually the really nice part of when you go to class, because like I remember my first class, I was in school with Catherine, and then there was such a mix of age and people that come around, and that's the beauty of pole, that like you can't just start it.
Yeah, you can start it at any time. And yeah, I think if you looked at my 6 o'clock class and you see, you'd walk in and you wouldn't realise half them in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Like one of the girls is in her 50s, sorry, and she's flat on the floor in her splits, no problem. And again, she didn't start stretching till I did the online classes during COVID, and now she's flat on her splits every week, no problem. It's a consistency thing, but again, age there. It's obviously the older you get, the less flexible you get.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say you can't get there. You just have to adapt it a different way.
Brilliant. No, well, thank you so much, honestly. Do you have a last message for any of your students listening to you? Should I help them?
I had more than one message me in the question, but am I your favourite student? I don't have, that's like asking your mother if I have a favourite child. I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
They all just got reply back with yeah. So
yeah.
they're all probably telling each other now, and going, no, she said I was your favourite. So
yeah.
They'll all be getting double push-ups on Tuesday.
You're welcome. Exactly. But no, honestly, thanks so much for sitting and chatting with me. I've really loved it. And all the best for the All Irelands in August too. Love it.